Welcome, welcome, loyal fan. All right, will you guys cut it out? Thank you. As I was saying, welcome, loyal fans. Today, we raced the fourth round of the Nations Cup. This round is driven on the fictional French Circuit de Saint-Croix. French lady, I think I need your help once again.
It is pronounced Circuit de Saint-Croix.
Yeah, that's better. Anyway, specifically the B layout of this Croix track.
Croix.
And the car for today is the Gran Turismo F3500A. We drove a slightly different variant of this car in the first round of the Nations Cup on Spa-Francorchamps, if you remembered that.
Spa-Francorchamps.
Shush you, fromage. I'm trying to get a story told here.
Omelette de fromage! Omelette du...
Anyway, the principle of cars is the same. The A version has a V12 engine, where the B version has a V8. But both are old-style Formula One based cars, which are light, have tons of downforce, and drive at ludicrous speeds. So these cars should once again make for an interesting race. Qualifying lasts for a total of 6 minutes, which should allow for 3 flying laps if you don't leave the pits too late. The race has a length of 24 laps, and both the racing soft and medium slicks are available and required to be used. There is no mandatory pit stop, but at least one needs to be made to use both compounds. Since there is also fuel at play, the optimal strategy is to start on medium tires and use those for around 15 to 16 laps. To be able to get to 15 or more laps, you will need to do a bit of fuel saving by shortshifting, but that will leave the 9 or 8 remaining laps for the softs, at the time where the car is lighter due to having less fuel. Sometimes it's viable to use the softer compound first, but with the effect the fuel weight has on these cars, you will probably struggle to get 8 laps out of the softs. So the optimal strategy should be to start on the mediums. Well, that is enough talking for now. Now let's take a look at the car and livery before we head to the track.
Drink? Is it on now?
No, Kimi, no. You will not have the drink.
With all that out of the way, let's now move on to some actual racing. As per usual, first a look at the qualifying. Well, would you look at that? Second place on the grid, right behind our Swiss friend Dex, who pulled a lightning-fast lap out of his hat. Being right at the front will hopefully help staying out of trouble at the start of the race. I won't be commentating on all the different tribute-style cars on the grid this time, but rest assured we have some good classic examples again, so take a look. For starting in cars like these, it is wise to set some traction control, so you can see him setting that to 1 now. He will set it back to 0 on a straight when he has time and the radar is not necessary. No issues in the first corner, luckily, but fellow Dutchman Flowrider is right up his tail. Either he is way more confident on the extremely cold mediums, or he started on softs, so Dordanov will allow him to pass for now, as there are still 24 laps to go. Let's pause it right here for a little explanation of a difficult section on this track. On the uphill corner towards the suspension bridge we see in front, there is a bump in the road surface. We can't see it, but Flowrider is about to move over and wiggle, and you will also definitely notice Dordanov's car bounce over it. This is a tricky part of the corner, and you need to be extremely careful not to go too fast and bounce off track here. Dordanov is definitely gaining some time back on Flowrider here, who still seems to struggle a bit with grip, whereas Dordanov is starting to feel more confident from the increased temperature in his tires. Right behind we see the Spanish driver Roca, who seems to be gaining fast. This might be a good indication he is on the soft compound. Let's see how this unfolds. Let's pause it right here. At this moment, Dordanov has checked his mirrors and radar and sees the Spaniard has not pulled alongside and is behind. From this point on, he has to focus on the apex ahead, and is making the assumption nobody will be dumb enough to go to the right side to try and overtake. as there is a sharp left-hander coming up after the gentle right that is up ahead. If you were to plan an overtake, every race driver should know you should now plan to pull alongside on the left. Any guesses on what will happen next? Right? Talk about unexpected moves. Just when there was still sight on second place, and then this happens. Luckily, there is already a bit of a gap behind, so it's not straight back into the pack of the midfield. Now, let's take a look at how Roca got to this point from his perspective. First, we take a short look at the start of his race, which also had a slight incident. Not really a clean overtake, and probably mostly caused by not anticipating other drivers being on the harder compound, having to brake earlier. Now let's go forward to the moment we are really looking for. Not really a place to bump draft, so looks like once again not correctly anticipating other cars having to brake earlier. After being to the right, he has now chosen position behind again. This is what is seen by Dordanov as not trying to overtake on the right anymore, and instead holding out for a better moment. Luckily for Dordanov, he wasn't half as bad at rejoining to the track as this, and managed to keep the lost time rather limited himself. We jump slightly back in time on board with Serginho. He is the driver who was pushed off track by Roca in lap 1. He is about to make a similar move on the Portuguese driver in front. It must be Spanish logic or something.
Can't park there, mate.
Dordanov is still struggling with damage and dirty tires, so is easily overtaken here. We pick the race back up at this point. Two cars have now overtaken Dordanov due to the damage he has, and a third is lurking close behind. The damage has now disappeared, and Streika in front is providing a slipstream, allowing some extra speed. Let's get a clear view of the action from the car behind. Beautiful move from Dordanov, who shoots off towards Serginho and away from the other two cars who remain to battle together. Yeah, it's next to impossible to go through these flat-out corners side by side. Well held though, kudos to you, Designation G. Back on board with Dordanov now, he is trying his best to catch up to Serginho to get his third place back. Well, that was easy enough. A mistake by Serginho, and he is overtaken straight away. Happy days. Serginho is still lurking really close in the mirror, and that slight error clipping the grass going up onto the bridge surely doesn't help pulling away. Serginho does seem to have more pace, so for now it's back to following and seeing if the slipstream is enough to hold on to him. Pace is picking up just by following alone, so if this is enough to at least pull away from the cars behind, that is a big plus. At this point, it seems like Serginho found some turbo to use. Dordanov is going to lose the slipstream and will drive a lonely race up until his pit stop. Before we move to that pit stop though, let's take a look at some things that happened in the rest of the field. We jump on board with the French Forest, who is trying his best to make up some places in the front of the field. Let's see what happens. And that is exactly what happens when you go over that bump with too much speed. He is off again. It took a moment, but now he can just happily go on his way again. Or can he? We will come back to him in a minute. Yes, that is a tricky part of the wall that you do not want to hit if you go slightly wide. Been there, done that. In practice, luckily, we see this baguette getting the overtake wrong and pushing an unsuspecting tortilla off track. He does something we don't see often though. He actually acknowledges his mistake and waits up, allowing the tortilla back in front. Hats off to you, good sir. We see Forrest with his Austin power moves come up to the back of him though. Let's see what is going to happen next. I am not sure how to explain any of the following or how to interpret it, so we'll just let this play so you can make your own story of it. Yeah, that was weird to say the least. But these two will meet again. Let's see what happens then.
If you want some, I'll give it you. You want to do with me?
Yeah, these two are going to be the bestest of friends, I can already tell. Anyway, let's quickly move on from these two to the pit stop. We join back up near the end of lap 15. Dordnoff is about to pull into the pits now. It turned out Dex started on the softs from pole position and made his stop in lap 10. Serginho stopped in the previous lap, temporarily moving Dordnoff up into P2. Let's see where he comes out after his stop. Flow Riding has pulled a pretty big gap of 12 seconds by now, and Dex is only 18 seconds behind. He will most certainly overtake Dordnoff during his stop, but Dex will be on the mediums, so overtaking him might still be possible if pace on the softs is good enough. We hear both Dex and Serginho fly past. Apparently Serginho is rather close to Dex already. It seems like Dordnoff is not too far off either though. The cars in front are still visible on certain portions of the track. Let's hunt them down. Look, we can see them right there in the distance. Yes, they are far away, but they are in sight, sort of. We switch over to Serginho to take a better look at the action in this part of the field. A small mistake by Dex was enough to allow Serginho to make the move. We must also keep in mind the tire advantage, of course, since Dex is currently on the mediums. Dordnoff is currently unaware of all the things happening in front. All he sees are some tiny cars with no idea who is who, but he does smell a podium, so he keeps pushing. The two cars in front are definitely closer now. This is also helped by the fact that he just now sets his best lap of this race. Let's ride along with Dex a bit to see how he is doing on those mediums. And through goes Dordanov, up into third place. Since nothing of note happened in the laps between, we jump straight to the final lap. In the timing on the right, we can see that final stint has been nothing short of amazing pace. Really consistent as well, about all he could have hoped for in this tricky car. It took 4 full-length practice races and at least 30 laps in time trial to get to this point of speed and consistency. And none of the practice races were without serious incidents either. This was the first race without any big spin or multiple track limits. And the accident with Roca was the only notable issue in this race. It's good to see all that practice paying off. Enjoy the last part of this race, and don't mind the German driver just behind. That is a lapped car who is apparently on fresh tires. Lapped cars are automatically ghosted to prevent them causing issues, which leads to funny situations sometimes, just like as about to transpire here. And there we have the confirmation of the podium. A little sad that our friend Dex didn't manage to convert his awesome pole position into a win for the race, but that did lead to the podium in the end, so we can't be too sad about it. Better luck next time, Dex. Solidified the position in top 10 of the Netherlands, but there are quite a few drivers that haven't participated in all races who can overtake once the drop race gets in effect, but we will see that when we get there. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.